Some of the most meaningful jewelry you own isn't new. It's inherited. A ring from a grandmother, a necklace full of memories, but no longer your style. Duke's Jewelers reimagines family heirlooms into custom pieces you'll actually wear and love. Working one-on-one, Duke's designers honor the original story while creating something fresh and modern. Don't let meaningful jewelry sit unused. Let it live on beautifully. Visit Duke's Jewelers in Springville or online at dukesjewelers.com, where old stories become new treasures.
Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
And now, it's 10 a.m.
Let's just get down to it.
And it's time for your sports fix.
Strap yourselves in, folks.
From two guys who have covered the teams you're passionate about for years.
We are professionals.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Happy April 1st to everybody out there. Can I say this? And we got to talk about whether what you're reading is fake news or not, because that really is breaking news to start the show, if it's true. But can I tell you how much I hate April Fools? Yeah. I just hate it.
Especially for our business.
I don't take that kind of joke well. I feel like I can take jokes most times, but I don't take pranks well.
I think that's fair. Most of them are lousy. Most of them are not particularly funny. I do tip my cap to USU, which has now, year after year, done we're doing a cow-themed thing. So we all kind of know it's coming. And they're usually effective with it.
But in the sports world, it's so silly. We're just trying to keep up with the news. Spare us your April Fools.
Yeah. But, the way you would expect, Tom Holmoe's doing a cool new Halloween costume every year. And it was this is the thing. I do like that Utah State seems to be staying in the same vein with all of their April Fool's jokes. Though they did end up going to the helmet, right? They used the cow print helmet.
Several times.
If you missed it this morning, they said they were going full Boise State with a cow print field.
They should stop all of that. They don't have any money. They don't have the money to do any of that. Save the money on the helmets and spend it somewhere else. I don't know if you followed that news yesterday.
Well, yeah, it's Utah State.
But I'll bring up the numbers. But they're $40 million in the hole, and the university as a whole is $400 million in the hole. They're going to start jacking fans at the Spectrum. It's financially, it is not. It's not going well at Utah State. So don't do the helmets.
Yeah. Save your money.
Reuse last year's uniforms. Transfers, you got to say, excuse me.
It's only $44.5 million in debt.
Oh, only?
Anyways.
Yeah.
Lighter news.
So, yeah, stop the April Fools. Stop the cow stuff. Stop all of that.
Get out of debt.
Fix that, because I got news to break to you. You're not going to compete with anybody in the Pac-12.
You grow up and you have a 19-year-old son who is always in debt. His car is getting repossessed, but his big thing is playing April Fool's jokes on you. That's what Utah State's doing.
Button it up.
Are you spending money on pranks?
Button it up.
Make
Utah
a car
State.
payment. Serious news we were talking
about.
Yeah,
okay, so is this true? Did we confirm it?
It looks like there are several stories on this throughout the press.
The legend.
Ravens play-by-play announcer Jerry Sandusky is retiring.
Legend. I honestly, I've felt worse for people over, but I felt so bad for that guy. Because you know what? You would say, why don't you just change your name? So, the Jerry Sandusky of Penn State, the kind of funny part of this was this Jerry Sandusky, who was the voice of the Ravens, was just getting creamed on Twitter.
Of course.
People were like, what? Why are you tweeting this out? You sick whatever. And how are you tweeting from prison and all this stuff? And Jerry, the Ravens announcer, had to be like, I am not that Jerry Sandusky. But you say, okay, well, why don't you change your name? The dude was already established in his career where having a name, it matters. He couldn't just come back as Carl Phillips, you know? So if it happened, honestly, if it happened to like you or me, we probably could get away with changing our name, maybe. But like you're the voice of the Ravens, you can't just come back a different name. People are going to be like, who is this, bro?
It's one of the funny lines all time from Office Space, David Herman, whose name is Michael Bolton. They're saying, why don't you change your name?
Like, I had it first.
Tell that clown to change his name. No, you're not more famous than Michael Bolton, unfortunately. And you may have actually been more famous as the play-by-play voice of the Baltimore Ravens than the Penn State defensive coordinator.
Retired defensive coordinator at Penn State. But,
and then you lose all rights to your name because Jerry Sandusky's the worst guy in the world, and your name also happens to be Jerry Sandusky.
He becomes infamous.
But the funny part is one of them spelled with a G.
There's a G is the play-by-play voice. All-time tough break.
Tough break.
Especially being like, man, NFL play-by-play job, so hard to get. You know, really, really difficult to work your way to the top. You finally get there. You're in your prime. When was the other Sandusky stuff? 12 years ago? 10 years ago?
Oh, longer maybe. It had to be like 2010.
So
2011.
So this was relatively early in Sandusky. Other Jerry with a G, Sandusky's run as the play-by-play voice, like 5 years into his career.
I have no idea.
Not 15 years. He wasn't Hot Rod, who, you know, this would have creeped up very late in his career. No, this was 5 years into his run as the play-by-play voice. So anyways.
And there is some bozo somewhere who read that news and goes,
I thought he was dead.
How do they lead that guy out of jail? I thought that guy was in prison. Are you serious? He was the voice of the Ravens?
He gets a farewell from Adam Schefter?
Are you kidding?
Sandusky?
That guy? The guy who brought down Joe Pa?
Anyways, salute to a legend.
Man, they'll let anybody back into football.
If you're good.
I guess. I mean, I don't even think he said he was sorry. He's now the voice of the Ravens?
Anyways.
Well, that's really funny. Congratulations to Jerry. I'm certainly happy for him.
Uh-huh. Maybe he can disappear finally.
The other one.
Either one.
Because I think the evil one has pretty much disappeared. When was the last time you heard anything about him?
No, I thought he was dead. Joe Pa is dead.
Joe Pa's dead. Jerry is not.
Jerry with a J is not.
Is in prison.
But he's got to be 82 or so years old now. So
good. I hope he lives a long life.
In prison.
In prison.
Yeah. He deserves every minute of it.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, the voice of the Ravens, however, I hope he has like a house down the shore, you know what I mean? And is going to kick it and have a good time.
Yeah.
Seen some good football. Going out with John Harbaugh.
Yeah, leaving with Harbaugh.
Sayonara. The crazy Harbaughs. I had this random thought, and then not that this is where we need to start the show per se, but I did have this random thought. Do you think Whit and Jim Harbaugh talk? You think Whit's hitting up Jim Harbaugh for...
Two weirdos, in not derogatory,
But Jim had the job before.
And they know each other from the Pac-12.
Did Whit ever play Jim? He did not.
At Michigan, he did.
At Michigan, but not,
did he not do it at Stanford?
In the Pac-12.
They didn't cross over.
I think I'm trying to remember my Pac-12 media days, and I'm pretty sure David Shaw
was already over there.
Was already there by the time that Utah was in.
You're probably right, but they did certainly meet in Michigan. Yeah, I bet you they've crossed paths. I bet you Whit's hit him up. I would hope so.
That would be a weird phone call. I'd really like to hear it.
It'd just be two guys not talking to each other.
You think Jim's like, hey, can you do me a favor and bring Sharon back on staff?
I have a guy who needs a favor.
I got a dude who needs a favor. Really, really bottomed out and just needs something. Just something. Had great resume. Former head coach. Great defensive coordinator. But anyway.
Don't look too closely into him.
I wonder if Coach Whit calls Jim Harbaugh. That'd be a funny phone call to be a fly on the wall.
Yeah, absolutely.
David James brought up an interesting thing in regards to the Jazz this morning. PK immediately poo-pooed it, but I'm not so sure. Do the Jazz get the green light to try and win tonight?
Second to last, no. It's the second to last home game. I don't think so. You are playing Denver. The problem is you can actually beat Denver. Now, I would have had a different answer if there was a different outcome last night, which is I thought the Dallas Mavericks were going to beat the Milwaukee Bucks because the Milwaukee Bucks are playing the third of the three Antetokounmpo brothers now. I think his name's Theo or something. I've never heard of this, Alex or I don't know. So we know Giannis, and then we know Thanasis. And Thanasis is already getting, a free job because of who his brother is, and is at least like kind of a basketball player. And now the third brother finally suited up last night for the Bucks, and we know all the issues that are going on in Milwaukee with Giannis and the team, and this kind of back and forth between Giannis's agent and the ownership, and saying like he wants to play and they're not letting him play. So they're trying to throw him a bone here and maybe have everyone happy on his way out the door, letting him play in the NBA for one game. Had Dallas, though, won that game, which they did not, they would have a 3-win advantage over the Jazz, or 4-win advantage, excuse me. They do not. They lost that game last night to Milwaukee. So Dallas is still sitting at 24 wins and the Jazz are at 21. Knowing very well that the Jazz could beat and will likely beat the Memphis Grizzlies on the second to last day of the season. And you have no idea with the Lakers the last game of the season because the Lakers will be maybe locked into a spot, maybe not. But if they're locked into a spot, the Lakers are going to play absolutely nobody, and the Jazz might win that game. If you win those two and you win tonight, you could still catch Dallas. And I don't think the Jazz have any interest in catching Dallas.
No, I don't. I don't either. Nor are those games automatic wins. Nor, if the Jazz actually tried, is it guaranteed that they would beat the Nuggets. Now, PK kind of in my opinion, misinterpreted what DJ was getting at because PK then jumped to, well, are they going to bring back Keontae George?
Yeah,
that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is even with a limited squad, whoever they decide to go to, you don't bench Phil in the fourth. You don't bench Bryce Sensabaugh in the fourth quarter. You don't platoon Cody Williams and Ace Bailey. I don't know about Isaiah Collier, but maybe Isaiah Collier makes a return to the lineup. You know what I mean?
He is already ruled as out. But
has he been? But you get what I'm saying.
I do. I fully understand what you're saying.
And I wonder, because even if they do that, there certainly is no guarantee that they beat the Nuggets. But it would be nice to see a game where that didn't necessarily happen.
I'm totally with you, and that's why, honestly, and I rarely care about outcomes of games in the NBA, I was truly hoping last night that Dallas would beat Milwaukee. Not to protect the Jazz's ability to get a lottery pick. The Jazz can lock that up. I mean, they're going to lock that up. They're going to make sure that, they have the fifth worst odds, hell or high water. But I hope that, honestly, there would be a 4-game advantage so the Jazz could play these last 6 games relatively, the word going around has been ethically, not having to play Kyle Filipowski only 24 minutes. But unfortunately, and this is unfortunate for Jazz fans, and this is the truth about all of the tanking issues. Unfortunately for Jazz fans, you are the ones who suffer because, you're only going to be able to play Flip for 24 minutes tonight or less, or Cody Williams 20 minutes or less, or Ace Bailey or whatever, to ensure you lose this game. Now, maybe the Jazz are down 30 going into the fourth quarter and they can play whoever they want. But they have played Denver extraordinarily well lately. They almost beat them in Denver on Friday night. They had a very good game against them here. They lost 128-125 to open March. That was almost a month ago now. So the Jazz have played Denver probably too well to even play with that fire, unfortunately.
I think Dallas has a win left, though.
They might, and they can probably beat Chicago the last game of the season.
Yeah, here's they've got Orlando at home, the Lakers at home, the Clippers on the road, the Suns on the road, the Spurs on the road, and Chicago at home. But, God, I hate this exercise so much.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I hate it so much. I would bet Orlando is a mess right now. That's not necessarily...
They did just beat Phoenix last night.
Right, but that's not necessarily an automatic L. Chicago at the end of the year, that's going to be a tankathon. Who's to say, how far is San Antonio up?
Well, they might be able to catch Oklahoma City, so I think they're still going to be playing late. Now, did you say it's the second to last game of the season? It might be decided by then. They're 2.5 games ahead of the Pistons, and the only reason that would matter is if these two teams meet in the finals. Traditionally, in my experience, teams don't fight for home court advantage as far out as the finals, unless they're just saying, hey, we're trying to get the best record in the NBA, because that's a feather in our cap. I don't think the Spurs are going to play the second to last night of the season and risk Wemby on the off chance that they could get a Game 7 at home in the finals against the Pistons.
There's a chance Phoenix is trying to get themselves healthy with 3 games to go. I mean, it's just these last few games in the NBA are silliness.
Complete
and so
nonsense. You have no idea what's going to happen.
I think the Mavericks get at least 1.
I'm with you. I actually do totally agree with you.
And maybe 2, depending on circumstance, but at least 1. I don't think they finish out the year winless. I really don't.
I totally agree. And I've had this conversation with people who were worried that the Mavericks were going to lose every game. And I was a little bit the voice of optimism saying they're going to win a game, and then I think they won like 2 days later and beat the Portland Trailblazers. Which already put the Jazz in the spot where now if they did accidentally pick up a win they didn't expect, they would have to boot one elsewhere. But there was some concern that if Dallas didn't win another game, including the Portland game 3 nights ago or whatever it was, that those last 2 games were going to be really, really difficult for the Jazz to lose at home against Memphis and on the road to the Lakers, like we explained, because the Lakers probably aren't playing for anything, that the Jazz could have pulled into an even tie with the Mavericks in the final standings. And if that happened, they would go from a 99.6% chance or 99.4% chance of holding onto their pick to it would be like 98% because they would actually combine lottery balls with the Mavericks and then divvy them up. So it wouldn't fall all the way to 96, but it would go to 98.
So I guess I don't want to see like my opinion hasn't, like I want anything. But I guess what I'm saying is I don't expect him to bring back Keontae. I don't expect all of a sudden for Nurk to get over his beak injury and play. I don't expect any of that. But can it be the traditional tank where you just field a young team and you let them go out and try to win? Is that too much to ask? If you field a young team and you say, okay, guys, go pour it on. Let's see if you can get over the hump and beat the vaunted Nuggets or whatever. And we just have not gotten – the last time the Jazz played the Nuggets, they torpedoed it at the end of a competitive game.
Twice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
I don't think we're going to see it tonight. And again, the injury reports out. Isaiah Collier, Keontae George, Blake Hinson, Jaren Jackson Jr., Walker Kessler, Lowry Markin, and Yusuf Nurkic already out. Elijah Harkless questionable. Look, I think the Jazz would love to quote unquote ethically tank. Just play the young guys, play them late in games and lose. But the pick matters to them more than having Kyle Filipowski on the court in the fourth quarter. I think that's understandable. But had they played Flip or had they played Cody Williams in that game against the Nuggets or Ace down the stretch against the Cavaliers, they probably win those games. Then they are sitting on 2 more wins than they want. I'm with you. I can't wait for this to be over. I'm excited that
it gets back to it's just so hard to lose all these games.
It is.
It's madness that we were told it was over before the season.
Yep.
Madness.
There are 2 home games left tonight, and then the second last game of the season against Memphis. They've got a 3-game road trip coming up, and they're just going to bite the bullet and do what they have to right now.
Because we're talking about, in order to ensure losses, not playing your rookie and your second-year guy at the same time because you might be accidentally too good.
2 playoff teams.
So silly.
Yeah.
So unbelievably silly. That we thought a team with Lowry Markkanen and Walker Kessler playing all the time would be bad enough to keep that draft pick is so laughable.
And I thought, teams like the Nuggets would eventually wise up and say, okay, this is a Jazz team that actually will punch you in the mouth if you let them because it's a bunch of young, scrappy players. But the Nuggets got punched in the mouth at home. Again, Friday night. That was not that long ago.
Tonight because it knows the Jazz will just sink it at the end on purpose.
Correct.
So,
yeah,
what a funny thing.
Bizarre, horrible. I do hope that whatever the NBA thinks they're going to do to fix it does fix it. I don't have a lot of faith. I do know that the Jazz can course correct themselves, and that's the plan. So this will not be our conversation next year until we are looking at seeding for the playoffs, and we're saying, well, we think the Jazz might be able to win this last game of the season because the Clippers won't be playing anyone because the Clippers will be eliminated or will be locked up. And that's the different pathway you're going to be looking at it.
All right, here's my idea. The bottom, we'll call this inspired by the bubble.
Okay.
The bottom, I don't know, Ben, what do you want to put? Third of the league? Quarter of the league?
Mm-hmm.
We could go quarter of the league.
Okay.
Next season, you fly commercial and you stay at 3-star hotels or less.
I like it. The players would play harder. The coaches would coach harder.
Everybody would.
Go, yeah. I mean, the owner might not care, but
might be tough to
even
get
though
players.
Ryan Smith apparently really does care about like the hockey team staying in good hotels, which is good for him. But yeah, all of a sudden your travel quality dips.
be tough to get players on your team for next season, but that's neither here nor there.
Really hard to get better.
Yeah, really, really difficult. But like we're talking, like Comfort Inn and below, and you have to fly commercial.
And you have to book day of at the
Oh,
hotel.
I like that.
So there's a chance you're running around a city.
Looking for
Looking
accommodation.
for a
Like that?
Yeah, I like that too.
Like that?
They'd play way harder. Are you kidding?
There's a convention in town. We're never going to find a place
Oh
to
man,
stay.
we're stuck in the
We're
burbs.
sleeping in the bus.
Oh no. We're at the Super 8 in Poughkeepsie.
Don't be bottom quarter of the league.
Yeah, play harder.
Only 8 teams.
That's what
fine.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Those players would look at the front office telling them to lose games and be like, I don't think so, pal. You don't have to go on the road.
Not sleeping in the bus next to Nurk.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
Nurk and his snoring problem, which probably isn't fixed by the surgery. Yeah, no. Hard no. Hit people where it hurts in the accommodations, in their personal lives. All right. We're going to have top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com coming up next. Stay tuned. It's Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time for the top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com. Brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. All right, Christian, where do you want to start today?
Number 1, you're right, Jake. Maybe Utah State doesn't have the money to spend on the Moo print helmets.
Don't do it. Save that dough. By the way, shout out to Courtney Tanner at the Salt Lake Tribune, who did a lot of this reporting, a lot of open record stuff, Ben. But the kind of lead, and I love this, actually, the Utah Board of Higher Education has rejected a proposal that would raise student athletic fees 25.8%, or roughly $60 annual, which meant that each USU student would be paying $290 a year for the average student. Board member Steve Nealman said this, quote, "All of this is just Band-Aids. It's Band-Aids on a gushing wound." And he said, "Sorry to be so graphic, but we're going to be back here every single year having the same conversation unless we fix this model," unquote. Ben, you ask, what's broken about the model? Well, Utah State Athletics is currently $40 million plus in the hole. Would you say 42?
Uh-huh.
Utah State as a university is over $400 million in debt. And the fact that they would say find a better way than shaking down the students does my heart well, to be honest. I mean, I think it's pretty easy just to go, let's, well, just one time, we'll bump it 25%. It's the board member, I think, is right. They'll be back every year because this is an keep-upable race. Sustainable, whatever you want to say.
Keep-upable works.
Keep-upable?
Yeah. Google it.
No, I mean, I think Utah State can kind of sustain what they're doing now, I suppose, but I don't think Utah State can keep up with the rest of college sports. Does that make it like, or certainly, big schools, even the University of Utah, who, by the way, financially, they lost $17 million in 2024 because of the transition to the Big 12, which is a huge number, obviously, but they've since kind of stabilized and shown a profit. But, or at least did in 2023 and 2022. But this is a big deal. So I like it that they rejected the student fees, but the board members also right, Ben, that they have to do something about this. And you know what? Keeping up with the big time programs, you're going to have to find a way to make a dollar out of a dime.
From the Salt Lake Tribune further, University President Brad Mortensen pitched the hike as a one-time deal that he intended to revisit and possibly lower next year. That's because the school needs a quick financial infusion now to navigate the increasingly complex funding landscape as they navigate through college athletics and then jumping to the Pac-12. He said that there was a chance to, this is the president, bring in more revenue through fundraising, increased ticket and concession prices and sponsorships. Could also rent out the arena and stadium for concerts, which seems like a given. You should be doing that already if that gives you an opportunity to make some money.
The hard part, too, Ben, though, is on top of the $40 million in debt that they currently have. In 2023, for example, their budget as it is now is largely subsidized by the school. They got $20 million from the school, like an internal loan. I don't know how that exactly works in 2023. And it included an additional $3 million basically that they got from a discretionary fund. I mean, they're
hurting.
They're scrapping to keep the lights on.
It stinks. This is horrible about college athletics overall. This is horrible about the arms race of the haves and the have-nots. It's not just going to be Utah State that gets eaten alive like this. It's going to be other schools, and it's probably going to be bigger schools. And we recognize you just talked about the University of Utah having financial issues. This is going to be common practice, unfortunately, and I hate to see this. And at some point, you are going to see teams either just start to shutter athletic programs, if not departments entirely, because they don't think they can afford it. But you are going to see entire teams start to go away because football teams do make money and basketball teams can make money, and the rest of them generally don't. And there was a system designed to make sure that, the practice was financially solvent, and it's no longer the case.
Now, I looked into this a little bit, too, because I think it's an interesting parallel to what Utah State's going through. But back when BYU was trying to, I don't know, what do you call it when a peacock does its feathers?
Blooms?
Trying to attract the Big 12. There was this Colorado State was trying to do something similar for, if not the Big 12, the Pac-12, or something along those lines to position itself best for conference realignment. They rebooted their football stadium and they invested all this money, and it was a big deal at the time. Colorado State currently, in 2022, figures show a $28.2 million athletic deficit and over $24 million in debt service facility expenses. The windfall never came. The windfall never came. And Utah State, we'd have to talk to Scotty. I know they invested big time in the football stadium and upgrading the, what would that be, north end zone, if you've been up there. And they did a good job. It's a really cool facility. They redid the press box and all that stuff. But the windfall expected from all these investments just does not come for these schools.
Yeah.
And to a lesser extent, I will say the Big 12 schools, too, because Utah's going to have to get adjusted to making less revenue from television. The current Big 12 media deal is not nearly what the Big 10's is. Like a third. We'd have to go look at it.
Yep.
I mean, it's not nearly what that is. So I think we often get lost in talking about you got to come up with resources. You got to do this. You got to do that. And we completely ignore who is running it, how well they're running it, and if those resources even exist.
Yeah.
I bet you they hired the Northern Iowa basketball coach because he's used to not making anything.
Correct. You're going to win with nothing.
You're going to win with nothing.
Are you okay taking a job where you're not going to have any resources to win minus a little bit of NIL money from your one donor, and that's it? Sure, I guess. Yeah, it's brutal. It's horrible. This is a horrible story.
Sucks.
Yep, it does.
And you wonder why, Diana Sabo only kept the job for, what was it, a year? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's got to be one of those things where you get the job and you look at the books and you went, holy cow!
No pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended. Yeah, but don't paint the helmets. Reuse last year's stuff. Fly commercial.
Yeah. Stop mowing the lawn, in fact. If that's real grass up there, you can't afford to mow it anymore.
I know.
Gas prices today? No.
I know Ajay
run the mower.
I know Ajay is a valuable member of the broadcast team.
He's been furloughed.
But yeah, rough story for Utah State for sure. All right, what's next?
Number 2, Utah Jazz hosting the Nikola Joker and the Nuggets tonight.
There is no Elijah Harkless tonight. He has been ruled out by the Utah Jazz.
Playing too well.
So the Jazz don't have a point guard.
He guards.
Let me actually Check this out.
So they don't have a point guard or a center, like on the roster.
It doesn't look like it.
No. Kennedy Chandler, he's a point guard.
His 10-day ran out.
Oh, it did. Never mind.
Oh, no. Just this morning, he did sign a 10-day contract.
Okay.
So good for him. He's back there. His expired Monday night. He didn't sign Tuesday, but he signs today because 10 days will actually allow him to play another game because the Jazz have a game exactly 10 days from today.
Okay.
So they waited to sign him.
Are we sure it's not an April Fool's joke?
Just kidding, Kennedy. I know you need this money. You got to think these G League guys.
Well, 10 days making an NBA salary is big dough.
Yeah, you get cut. I think it's half of a rookie salary. So your daily, 10 days, it's like you make like $170,000.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You get a ton of money. Kennedy Chandler getting 2 10-day contracts. You got to think these guys are making like $70,000 or something in the G League. It's not a whole lot, but you triple that or quadruple that by getting a couple of 10-day deals.
That's a good year.
It's a huge, huge boost for you, especially late in your season where you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do next year. It's like, this bought me a house. I mean, $250,000, maybe it's not a house anymore, but that's a lot of dough.
And maybe he can play his way into being a two-way guy.
Yeah, exactly right. And then you do make half the rookie salary.
And you spend half the season up with the big club and all that stuff.
You get a per diem and all these things. Yeah.
Big windfall.
Gets pretty sweet.
So good for him. So they do have a point guard on the roster.
And he's played relatively well.
He's been given the green light. I will agree with that.
He has been better than I expected him to be. He is averaging 14 points, 7 assists, 3 rebounds. He's shooting 43% from the floor, and the key for him is 36% from 3. Again, numbers late in the season don't really matter all that much, but I'm not talking for his future with the Utah Jazz. I'm talking about his future overall as an NBA player.
I get it.
He might get a G League invite somewhere. He's playing well enough right now to be on a summer league team somewhere, could be with the Jazz, and get a two-way or whatever you are. This is truly you're auditioning for all 29 other teams.
I agree. I agree with you, but at the same time, if I were talking to him, I'd be like, dude, you are never going to have this kind of role on an NBA team ever again. So it's good and enjoy it and soak it up. But I'd figure out a way to make it so you're a serviceable whatever. Up your defense. Find different ways to be valuable. Because I don't think it's a coincidence that the Jazz are trying to lose and he's playing 40 minutes a night. No offense to him.
Absolutely.
What's next?
Number 3, it's a tale as old as time. Utah's offense apparently looking really good in spring ball.
I'm excited with the progress. You're seeing the offensive line continue to make strides. Defense, I think offense maybe got a little bit better the defense in some of the scrimmage work we did on Saturday. It was good to see the defense bounce back. As long as it's back and forth and not one side is dominating the other, that's kind of what you're wanting to see is competitive football. And the culture continues to be a strong emphasis.
That's Morgan Scally, obviously, talking about what's going on in spring ball.
Some photos tweeted out this morning by the University of Utah football team. And it is pretty remarkable and a real tip of the cap to Utah, despite all of the nonsense that I think happened in the offseason. Some of it is their fault. Some of it's Kyle Whittingham's fault. Some of it's nobody's fault. It's just the nature of the business. That they have 2 real dudes coming back at quarterback. 2 really, really good players coming back at quarterback. It's a quality and a strength that Utah has not traditionally had a whole lot of. Certainly not as a 2 deep. But having both Dampier and Ficklin coming back is such... It puts you so far ahead when it comes to things like spring football and then going into the beginning of the regular season. Having not just an answer at the most important position, but a backup in case something does happen to Devin Dampier. Bird Ficklin, I thought, proved to be very, very effective last season. To the point where for a lot of the year, you and I were arguing who should be starting. Or who you should be investing in going forward. The fact that they got both to come back is a major coup.
Well, I want to know if either one of them can throw, which I think is important. But it's funny to hear Morgan. I don't believe coaches when they say this side of the ball won or that side of the ball won in spring ball or fall camp ever.
I'm with you.
Because half the time they're saying it to motivate the defense. Half the time they're saying it to buck up a struggling offense.
Yeah, pat somebody on the
half
back.
the time that's 3 halves, but you get my point. Some of the time they're trying to manipulate the PR because they feel like everybody out there is flipping out about the offense. In Utah's case, that has specifically been true. And Morgan is different than Kyle, but when people out there are going, "Oh, is Utah going to even be able to move it a yard?" You could set your watch to it. That's the spring practice that Witt comes out and been like, "Did you see the offense today? You didn't? Well, let me tell you.
Yeah,
Whoo, doggy. It was like I was watching the Rams.
What part of practice did you guys see? We saw only the offense running just kind of by itself. Oh, the defense had a great whatever you didn't see.
Yeah, whatever.
Had the best day.
So it's funny, and maybe this is a new world where Morgan will tell us what's actually going on. I kind of hope that's the case. But it called me cynical, but I always hear that stuff and be like, did they get the better of the defense?
Yeah.
Did that happen? But having experience at quarterback back is good. I want to know. The bowl game was from an offensive perspective, was a really positive start.
Breath of fresh air.
To the Morgan Scally area. It really was.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if we see him, have a different philosophy when it comes to the relationship between the offense and the defense, I am really curious to see that happen and see how that works.
But unless you are at Indiana, which I can't believe I'm saying that, but, some of the best, you probably can't have both. Kyle Whittingham didn't accidentally choose defense over offense. He's a very smart person. He's a very smart head coach, and he recognized our best way to win consistently is favoring the defensive bodies you have. Now, that doesn't mean you can't win with more offense at Utah, but I don't think you're going to keep Kyle Whittingham's defense and then add this offense that Whit never thought of, like, oh, what if we also had a good offense? Whit's not an idiot. And Morgan is not going to be able to reinvent the wheel.
Oh, no. I don't think it has anything to do with Whit's defense, honestly. I think it's all philosophy. Whit was a Gnostic. That what it said on the wall, protect the defense. That was his philosophy, and he was living and dying by it. There was no wiggle room there. That was why he never got along with offensive coordinators. I mean, it's because that philosophy did not flow with a really potent offense. It just didn't. And that doesn't mean he didn't have some potent offenses, don't get me wrong, but philosophically speaking, that was how he was going to operate at all times. Protect the defense at all times. That was his rep. That was his thing. I don't know if it's Morgan's thing.
No, I totally agree.
I don't know. And so can we see a different philosophy work with that defense? I don't see why not. I never liked Whit's philosophy.
But I don't think you will keep, quote, unquote, that defense. I think, quote, that defense will have to change.
I don't know. We'll see. Well, I'm sure he'll do something differently with it. I mean, Whit thought Morgan called it the most complicated defense in the world. So maybe it's that. I don't know. Kalani's, really done a nice adaptation. And Jay Hill had something to do with it too. But Kalani has made the linebacker way more important because that's what he can recruit at BYU. At Utah, at least originally, like Gianni Paul and what am I thinking? Why am I forgetting his name? He's in the NFL. Devin Lloyd. Thank you, Christian. Jeez.
Lloyd Cole.
Pre those guys, Utah's linebackers were decidedly average and by far the least important part of the defense.
Yeah.
So Kalani goes to BYU. He's like, man, look at these linebackers I can get. And so he's altered the defense to more highlight the linebacker. I mean, Morgan is going to do something different than Kyle Whittingham did for sure. But I hope the philosophy changes. I hope the philosophy of the relationship between the offense and the defense. For example, Kalani doesn't have that philosophy as hard and fast as Whit did.
Agreed. And it's benefited them.
I would agree with that. Yeah. He's let A-Rod eat.
And to be fair, other than last year, I don't know. And I don't know if this is a criticism of Whit or a compliment to Whit, or neither. I don't think Whit ever had this quality of quarterback room. So Morgan should change. You should change with the hand that you're dealt. And right now, Utah's dealt a very good hand on the offensive side of the ball. Beyond what he just said about a little bit of practice, you have two real game breakers at quarterback right now. So if you can do that, and those guys can win you games, which we saw them, the final 3 games of the season, Utah came from behind of at least the last 2. With Kansas, they needed some big push. Kansas State, that was in Salt Lake, and then at Kansas to close the year, they needed these big comeback performances, and it was the quarterbacks putting it on their shoulders and doing it. Having that ability should change the way you play. I do agree with you. I'm just saying you can't have, the nastiest defense in the West and probably also have that offense.
Stay tuned. We will have more coming up next. It's Jake and Ben, 97.5 DKSL Sports Zone.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car is gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
What's that? Whether it's the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, these guys have got you covered.
Time to eat, fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
1, 2, 3, move it.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. It's a Win Ticket Wednesday. Caller number 12 right now, 801-575-ZONE. Win a pair of tickets to go see Weezer, The Gathering with Shins and Silver Sun Pickups at the Mavericks Center on September 15th. Tickets are on sale on April 3rd at livenation.com. Pre-sale is tomorrow, April 2nd at 10 a.m. And here's the code you need. WeMav26, all one word, WeMav26 for those pre-sale tickets. Ben, I don't know why I find the power struggle in Dallas so fascinating, but I do.
Okay. You're talking with the Mavericks?
I'm talking about with the Mavericks. So quick backstory on it all. Mark Cuban sells the team to the Adelsons. He thinks that I'm still going to be in charge, but they're going to own the majority of the thing. He already had hired Nico Harrison, and there was a little bit of an internal conflict. After the new owners come in, Nico then put on his butt-kissing lips and tried to basically usurp Mark Cuban, successfully so, culminating in the trading of Luka Doncic, which Mark Cuban admittedly knew nothing about before it happened.
He says, but I do believe him.
The fallout from Luka happens. Nico Harrison eventually ends up fired at the beginning of the season. How many games did he make it through? It's like a couple of weeks.
Not long, yeah.
Mark Cuban then does a media tour saying, guess who's back, baby? Woo! Uncle Mark.
It's my turn.
Back in town.
Yeah.
And you see all these stories come out about the power struggle and behind the scenes and all this, and Mark is back. Fast forward to yesterday. When we brought up the story on the show, Mark Cuban gives an interview where he said, the only regret I have about selling the franchise was who I sold it to, which is interesting because last I heard that Mark was back on friendly terms with the Mavericks.
Yeah.
Now he's throwing the entire Adelson family under the bus for a team that he still owns?
Right, part of, but yes.
Still owns like 30%. I found that very, very peculiar. And then later on, Chris Mannix had some reporting, Ben. Maddox says, I'm told that Patrick Dumont, the team's governor, is aiming high. Among the names on Dumont's wish list, talking about the GM here, per league sources, Oklahoma City Executive Vice President and General Manager Sam Presti, Minnesota President of Basketball Operations Tim Conley, and Boston President Brad Stevens. Cleveland top exec Colby Altman's name is also in the mix, a source said, unquote. So the Adelsons obviously kicked Mark Cuban to the curb, and they're trying to take a swing at somebody at a big name. Now, none of those guys, I find it hilarious that they basically mentioned the who's who outside of Altman of the general managers in the NBA, which is kind of funny. And I don't think they're going to land any of those names. But Dallas, now the Adelsons are free agents, Ben. Who wants to be their Rasputin?
Yep.
The Mavericks are open for business.
Nobody does it better than Tim Conley, the Mavericks, or the Timberwolves GM.
He came from Denver.
Who loves to throw, and I mean, no one does it better. He throws his name into every hat.
Yeah,
he lets it leak that he's up for every job, so the Timberwolves keep having to pay him more and more. He is very good, though. He built a championship team in Denver and then went and built a pretty good team in Minnesota as well. No, it's fascinating. And I suspect there are probably some political issues behind the scenes here as well, which is why it was a little surprising that Mark sold it to the Adelsons in the first place. He does not like President Trump at all. Adelsons are huge Trump people. So I'm sure there is some weirdness there. And I know, obviously, Trump does not like Mark Cuban. The Adelsons love each other. So it is weird. It's weird that that's the operating spot. I wonder if he's going to sell this final 27% of the franchise that he still owns, or if he's going to hold on to it. There was rumor a couple of months ago that he was going to try and buy it back. He was going to try and buy the controlling interest back, even at a huge loss over time, because he sold it for less than they're probably worth already. I don't think they're going to give up on it. the Adelsons.
Well, the Adelsons certainly bought the Mavericks for a lot less than they could have brought a team to Vegas, apparently.
Yeah.
That's going to go for $7 to $10 billion. I don't know what the Mavericks sold for, but it wasn't $7 to $10 billion.
No, it was like 4, something in those range. 3.5. He sold it at a $3.5 billion valuation, and he only sold 60% of it or 70% of it. So he got, what, $2.4 billion, $2.5 billion, which is nothing to shake a stick at, but yes, compared to the $7 to $10 billion, and I suspect it's going to be $10 billion.
The expansion fee.
The expansion fees. Yeah, that's an absolute deal for the Adelsons.
That's a steal for sure.
And Dallas is a great place to be. You know, it's not like they bought the New Orleans Pelicans.
Well, it's a huge market.
It's a huge market. It's a good team historically, and you've got a superstar there already in the waiting. So you had another one that they got rid of, but they were quickly rewarded with Cooper Flag.
Kind of a good team historically. That's the fear, right?
Last 20 years, they've been relevant. But yes, they might not be.
Before that, they were a disaster, and that, after all, is a Cowboys town. So they found a way to make a mark in the Cowboys universe.
No pun intended with Mark Cuban. He made.
No, he deserves a lot of credit.
He did a great job. He was a great
Think
owner.
what you will. You may hate the guy on Shark Tank, but
yeah,
he ended up being a terrific NBA owner. I'm still surprised he sold it, honestly.
Big time.
But he's got to invest in the. I'm trying to think. What is the sponge called? Like the best selling thing on Shark Tank?
Daddy. What's it called?
Scrub Daddy.
Well, they backed off of that, right? They passed on Scrub Daddy.
Did they?
Yeah, I think they all said this is the stupidest thing. You're never going to break into a market that is so well established. And now I have like 5 Scrub Daddies in my house.
It's like the Sham-Wow thing.
Yeah, but they actually work, unlike the Sham-Wow.
It didn't work?
Well, I don't know. It was just a terry cloth, right? It was a cloth.
No, it's a chamois.
Absorbent, just more absorbent. It's like microfiber, whatever.
What are chamois made out of?
Christian, do you know what a chamois was?
It's not microfiber.
I don't think Christian really understood what late night television was because by the time he was growing up, nobody was watching broadcast.
I know the Sham-Wow commercials.
Have neither of you ever washed a car? A chamois.
Yeah, it's a microfiber cloth.
It's not microfiber. A chamois is not microfiber.
I don't know whose side to take. I'm sorry, guys.
We've got Which God Wednesday coming up at 11:30. Stay tuned for that.
It's a combination, a blend of rayon and polypropylene.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Meet Christine. She loves shopping. And this is the sound of fashion overload. Too many fabulous things, not enough space. So Christine started selling with The RealReal.
I've always loved collecting designer pieces. Gucci bags, Prada heels. But my style keeps evolving. Selling with The RealReal? Game changer. I earn more, and they do everything.
Seriously, just drop off your items or schedule a pickup. We handle the photos, descriptions, pricing, even shipping. You just sit back and watch your items sell fast to our 38 million members.
And I get peace of mind knowing I earn more selling with The RealReal than anywhere else.
Exactly. That's the sound of your closet working for you. The RealReal. Earn more, save time, sell fast. And right now, you can get an extra $100 site credit when you sell for the first time. Go to therealreal.com to get your extra $100. Therealreal.com. That's therealreal.com.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
Your home for the best sports coverage in Utah. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone. Hey, we're teaming up with Beehive Meals, honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at KSLSports.com/contest and listen every Thursday to JJ and Alex for the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. Stay tuned at 11:30. We've got another edition of What You Got Wednesday. Have we hammered out the topics?
I do. I think so.
Did we decide for sure?
No, but we're way ahead of the schedule compared to most days.
Maybe least favorite days. Because I hate April Fool's Day.
No, least favorite day is not a bad idea.
No, I don't know.
Jake, you only get 5 selections, not 365.
Yeah, right.
I do hate every single day. Every day I get out of
Just
bed
gonna
in the
go
morning,
in
I think,
order.
I just hate this day. You know
What
what?
do you mean you drafted January 1st through 5th?
You know what? I'll tell you what. I do kind of hate every day from the standpoint that we don't need to label every day something. It doesn't need to be National Long Sleeve Shirt Day or National One Sock Day or what. You can Google it, Christian. Today is, I guarantee, 4 different things.
Well, it's April Fool's Day. It's also Passover.
Well, I'm
But
not
those are
talking.
real
I'm not
things.
talking religious stuff or actual federal holidays. I'm talking about.
Well, April Fool's Day is not a federal holiday. I would love if it was.
Time and a half, baby.
To my point, I don't think April Fool's Day should exist. I think it's the dumbest thing ever. To the point that I have U State Iceman on Twitter connecting me to some BYU TV bit about AJ DiBonsa coming back.
So here are what's going on.
No
on
offense,
April 1st,
U State Iceman. Still love you.
according to Google. April Fool's Day, National Sourdough Bread Day.
Yeah, see?
R.I.P. to Christian's wife who cannot eat it.
I hate
Got a
that.
gluten allergy. National 1 Cent Day.
Hate that.
Haven't seen a penny in years.
Well, they don't make them anymore.
This is a good one we can all get behind. National Takedown Tobacco Day of Action. So go
we really
find
need
somebody
that?
smoking a cigarette and give the old 1-2 in the
Wait,
stomach.
what is that day of action? You're exactly right. Is that inspiring violence?
People's elbow next time you see somebody vaping.
Do we need that?
Fossil Fuels Day. A day focused on protesting fossil fuels.
Oh, protesting, not pro fossil fuels day.
Spraying gasoline. International Tatting Day. Dedicated to the craft of tatting, which is not tattooing, but apparently it's the art of making lace.
Yeah, I hate that. Hate all of this.
That's kind of what I have.
Do we need a day for all this crap?
Well, I do like sourdough bread, and I hate anyone who's ever used a tobacco product.
Great.
So today's one of my best days.
Ben loves sourdough bread. So let's have a day. Let's have a day honoring sourdough
Been
bread.
waiting all year for it. It never comes soon enough.
Ben can't wait to beat up some smokers. I bet he's Googling this stuff every single day.
Groin kick for somebody who's dipping.
Yeah, you're in big trouble.
Yeah. If I see you.
Don't
Hey,
go
bro,
up. Yeah, right.
You know what today is?
I'd
Take Down Tobacco National Day of Action. And you picked the wrong day to meet one Ben Anderson.
I'd like to see you go up to Utah Spring Ball and try and attack anybody who's dipping.
Yeah. Got you in a full down.
I'd like to see how that goes.
Spit it out!
That goes for you.
Punk.
All right. So anyway, yeah, I hate all of that. So in a way I do hate every day. But yes, I do. I hate April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
Hate everything about it. AJ DiBonsa is not coming back to BYU.
At least we're not officially.
But we did confirm, I think, that Jerry Sandusky is retiring.
The right Jerry Sandusky. The G.
We haven't talked about this yet, and we don't need to dwell on it necessarily in this segment. We can move on and talk some jazz. But Tiger Woods did release a statement yesterday saying that he is stepping away from the game of golf and will be getting treatment. And I don't know if we need to read word for word exactly what the statement was, but that was pretty much the gist. Following, he did plead not guilty to DUI, and we'll see what eventually comes out of that. But he will not be, for everybody who's wondering, he will not be at the Masters next week. And I hope he's getting treatment, Ben. I really hope that's the case.
I totally agree. You know, you kind of just never know. This is the problem with the difficulty of if he's an addict, or what's kind of what it sounds like he is saying is that I have real health issues, and without saying I'm an addict, he's saying I've got to make sure I'm taking care of myself and actually paying attention to it this time. You hope it works out. You know, Tiger is shown a lot of times that, you know, we don't know what his rock bottom is. If it wasn't the last time, why would it be this time?
Yeah.
So and I hate to be, you know, anything but optimistic about somebody's future, but wishing the best for Tiger.
Well, it's easy. If we've seen anything, it's easy for celebrities to fall into this trap, right? Not just celebrities, but like the rich and famous. You know, rest his soul, Prince. You know, had issues with this, or Michael Jackson, or you can go down
Tom
the
Petty.
list.
Yeah.
Or even that Angels pitcher. Do you remember that guy from a few years ago? You know, you have to. Part of Tiger Woods' problem is his privacy. You know what I mean? That's part of the issue. You know, and there's people around these rich and famous that enable them to live this lifestyle, and easier for them to live this way than your normal person because they have the financial means and they have people who are willing to. What was the name of Elvis's doctor? Dr. Feelgood?
Yeah.
You know? And so they really have to be motivated to stop because
no one's going to stop them.
Because nobody's going to stop them.
Agreed.
You know? And we had an off-air conversation about this. I've encountered, I just broke my arm. I've encountered this in my personal life. Doctors out there are extremely hesitant to prescribe opiates, which is
a good thing.
A great thing.
Yeah.
A great thing. But I fear that trend has not made it to the doctor for the stars.
Your
you know
doctor
what I mean?
is hesitant to do that because that's a good doctor.
Right. Who has his patient's best interest at heart. And man, I hope
Shout out Mariah.
Well, she's my physical
Dr. Mariah.
She's a physical therapist. I don't think they can prescribe opiates, but yeah.
Let's hope not.
You know how I remember this particular doctor's name? It's funny because I hear Short Route in my head every time I hear his name. Dr. Jones.
Okay.
You know what I mean? From Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
But anyway, shout out to him. Good doctor. Yeah, right.
Not a football short route.
No.
Character.
The character.
Yeah.
Your guy. Didn't you draft him the other day?
I did.
For what?
Hui Kwan.
For something?
Yeah. Second acts as an actor. Kid stars. Kid star second acts. Anyways, Tiger Woods, bad second act.
Bad third act.
Let's hope it's not his third act. Let's hope this isn't
third
his
act
final
is
act.
the end.
I hope his third act is really
I was
good.
thinking, how many?
This would be a really bad third act if this is it.
But how many times has Tiger bounced back from something? And not even bounced back because I don't think he ever fully recovered from the time he got hit by a club by his wife.
Well, clearly. This is not behind him.
And then physically he fell apart and all that stuff. I mean, I don't, I kind of liked his comeback where he was playing tournaments with his kid, talking more recently, I thought, and you see him with more of a personality. I actually think the concept of this, what's it called?
Tomorrow Golf League.
Yeah. Have you sat down and watched one?
We'll have it on in the background here, and I'm actually kind of intrigued by it. I don't like the idea of simulator, but you know what? Tiger, who one of his big issues is he truly cannot walk very well anymore. If he doesn't have to walk, hold a hole, and I can still watch Tiger play golf, that's appetizing.
So the technology of it is pretty cool, but I would say the draw is that they've got both teams wired up the whole time,
Correct.
And it's the interaction.
They've blended the Netflix swing or whatever the show is called, the personalities
Right.
of the people, with the actual sport.
They found a way to put the personalities more at the forefront on the television as opposed to
Just
the
the
golf.
game.
And, the Masters cheats by dyeing their water blue and all that stuff. And we all appreciate the blooms on the whatever that they decide to highlight on TV. And it doesn't have any of that. They're playing wacky fantasy holes and stuff like that. And the putting surface
adjusts,
which
Very
is
cool.
which is really cool. But the draw of the show is, I think Tiger Woods just talked trash to
Tiger Woods
whatever.
and Rory being mic'd up.
Yeah,
That's
being
it.
mic'd up and their interaction and their immediate reaction when a shot doesn't go well or whatever. That's the real appeal of the show, and it's honestly pretty brilliant. And Tiger has shown more personality and more to be a human, but got to get past this. Certainly got to stop getting in the car. I'm cheering for his success to get his personal life in order, but until then, just do us all a favor and stop driving.
Yeah. No doubt about it.
I don't think it's too much to ask.
Correct. Stop being selfish. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned, it's a selfish issue for Tiger.
All right, the Nuggets are in town, Ben. I was unimpressed with the last time these two teams played. I will be interested to see how the Nuggets are, working themselves into shape for a playoff run, because I don't think it's going to be a long one unless they've gotten a lot better than the last team. We had to see Jamal Murray put the game on his back just to win.
It is certainly the team, I guess, that could be considered a contender. And I put them way above the Cleveland Cavaliers as far as teams that I think
let's talk about the
actually
West.
have a chance to win a title.
Cut out the East. Who cares? Let's talk about the West.
I do think they're still probably my third favorite to win the title, or at least to come out of the West. OKC is one. I fully believe in San Antonio. Victor might already be the best player in the NBA, certainly the most impactful defensive player, and then he is great offensively, and they're 9-1 in their last 10. I do believe in the Nuggets' sustainability in the playoffs over the Lakers, though the Lakers are going to finish most likely with a better record than the Nuggets here. I know the Timberwolves have been to back-to-back conference finals, so I don't want to rule them out. But Jokic is the best player in the world. Aaron Gordon seems to really be able to turn it on in the playoffs. Jamal Murray's incredibly clutch. So they've got some things working for them. But they're the team I'm just so, I guess, disappointed in. Just because it's just like, why is this not working better? Why is this not easier? This is the best and most talent I think Jokic has had around him. Like, this is a really good roster. This is a complete roster. And they've even gotten some luck with guys like Peyton Watson breaking out and turning into really good two-way players. And it's still just, maybe it's just bias of watching them play here, but it's how they play a lot. It's, the reason why they're not the second-ranked team in the West right now. They just blow weird games. They just have bad outings. They have no-show performances, which is seemingly uncharacteristic for what that team had been for the last few years.
The infighting, we were talking about general managers a couple segments ago, right? The infighting that the team had with the previous general manager and the coach, I think was a lot uglier than even we saw. Mm-hmm. And we saw a lot. They did not have a healthy relationship, not in the slightest. And it made the GM overcorrect, and they made some bad moves with the roster. And I actually don't think it was a terrible move for ownership. The timing of it was bad, but I don't think it was a terrible move just to move on from both children. And who was it? What was the guy's name? The GM before, former player. What's his?
Yeah, I played for a long time.
Give me a second, and I'll look it up. Apologies, but both
Calvin Booth.
Yeah. They both behaved in a very childish manner. I do not blame an owner for being like, I'm moving on from both. I got Nikola Jokic, the best player on the planet. I'm not going to let this be ruined by two children that can't get over their own ego. I'm moving on. With that in mind, I don't know if David Adelman's the guy. I'm not inspired by this team coming together because they do have all the parts that you just pointed out. All the things you pointed out about why you put them ahead of the Lakers, for example. That's all true. But how do you put it together? Mike Malone might be an insufferable person. Yeah, we'll go with person.
Okay.
He can coach.
He's a taskmaster, which might have been what that roster needs.
He was and is a good coach. He was and is a good coach. He was a good coach in Sacramento, and then he was a good coach in Denver. Now, just because you are a good coach doesn't make you easy to work with and all those other things. Like Rick Majerus was a good coach. Mm-hmm. He was very difficult to manage off of the floor. We have a little nuance here. But Mike Malone, not Michael, Mike. Uh-huh. Or Plugs, as he likes to be called. I may have made that up. He can coach. Yeah. Mike can coach. I don't know if Rick Adelman's spawn can. He hasn't been inspiring this year.
I do wonder if David Adelman, their coach, who got the job with a week left in the season, was it just last year that he got the job? I wonder if he has a little Quinn Snyderitis, which is, I think he's good at empowering guys to do what they want to do and maybe not holding them accountable for the things they don't want to do. I wonder if that's the case because, we watched this on Friday night. I think you're going to see it again. Flip, truthfully, now Jokic put up 30 and 15 and 10 or whatever it was in their triple-double when they beat the Jazz. But Flip feasted on Jokic. Really, really had a good game offensively against Jokic. And Jokic just seems okay and content right now to just let everybody score at the rim over and over and over. And we have always known Jokic is not a particularly good defensive player, but he did find a way to put in some effort on that side of the floor under Michael Malone, and that seems to have dipped somewhat precipitously.
You probably don't have it in front of you. You want to take a stab where they are defensive rating-wise?
17.
21.
That's bad.
That's bad. And they're the number, to back up what you're talking about, they're the number one rated offense in the league, 21st defensively.
Can you go back a year?
That screams, give me a second. That screams to me, though.
Do what you want.
Do what you want.
Yeah, go back a year. See if their defense is any better last year. It might not be. Maybe I'm making this up. But when I watch the team, I do see a roster that just lets opposing offenses have whatever they want, and they say, well, we'll make it up on the offensive end because Jamal Murray's going to hit some huge threes, and Jokic is going to have, the greatest offensive box score you've ever seen. And that's a sign of a lack of accountability, in my opinion. And I do wonder if we are starting to see that right now with the Denver Nuggets. And the problem is that's a hard switch to flip in 1 year, or not even in a year, but in an offseason of just saying, well, next year we'll or in the playoffs we'll just be a better team. I don't know if that's always going to be the case.
I always hate that with they'll turn it on in the post game or in the postseason, and then you're just constantly waiting for them to turn it on. I definitely have fallen into that trap.
Last year, I pulled it up. Denver was also the 21st ranked defensive team.
And they went nowhere.
2 years ago,
yeah,
they were 8th.
There you go.
So they are falling off. They are getting significantly worse defensively from where they were a couple of seasons ago under Michael Malone. Now, some of it was last year. Michael Malone also did not get them on board, and they had some health issues, but they had health issues this year as well. I do have a hard time thinking they're just going to suddenly be good in the playoffs. That was what the Jazz were betting on in their final run before they faced the Dallas Mavericks, that I know it wasn't as good as 2 years ago or last year because they had the best record in the NBA. This is speaking of the Jazz in whatever, 2021, 2022. But the thought was, well, maybe they get to the playoffs and kind of all these things that we've seen slowly get worse, they'll just be better at. And they weren't, and they got eliminated in the first round by the Mavericks, and then everybody left.
I haven't watched him much. Is Mike any good on TV?
He's okay.
I would not have predicted him to be good at that.
He went from being, well, the funny thing is he was doing sideline reporting, which is really, you've got to earn your keep. That's not a fun job, sideline reporting.
Not for a former coach.
Yeah, not for a former coach, is what I mean.
Who hated those mid-game interviews.
Did he do it during a Nuggets game?
I think he may have, yeah. Because he was defending them, I think, on the floor after the game. But now he is doing more booth stuff. And he's good. Yeah, he's a very smart person. He knows what he's saying, and he knows how to be enjoyable in that environment.
That's what I wouldn't have predicted. I'm not saying he's not smart. Some of those coaches are so miserable to be there that
I do think that's how a lot of coaches learn how to get jobs, is to be really pleasant in interviews so they know how to flip that switch, and then when they are actually coaching, they're...
Are you saying Bruce Pearl is not really a nice person?
They're evil.
Is that what you're getting at?
When they become coaches. But when they have to interview for a job, they're as good as anyone's ever seen. I think that happens a lot.
Urban Meyer jumps to mind?
Yeah, I bet you Urban's an awesome interview. When you need Urban, and when Urban needs you, I bet he's incredible.
What was the old line? I mean, not to bring back Rick Majerus, but everybody talked about how great Rick Majerus was in front of parents.
Yeah.
Just really could turn it on when he was in the same room as mom and dad. Was really good in that setting.
Yeah.
What you got Wednesday? Coming up next, stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
The sports you love, the teams you can't live without.
Get a sense of urgency!
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
What you got Wednesday? What's the deal? Jake Scott rules, Ben's out to steal. Bozo takes their spinning around. Flush it down, flush it down.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake, Scott, Ben Anderson, thank you for making us a part of your day. We greatly appreciate it. It's time for What You Got Wednesday, where Ben and I go head-to-head on 2 5-selection drafts, one sports-related, one not. And then we put it out on the Snap Talk for a vote. What were last week's results there, Christian?
Last week, best all-time college basketball coaches, Jake won 62-38, and best space movies, Ben won 60-40.
Surprised on the space movies. But, good time. So you get the first sports, and I got the first not sports. Okay. Deal. All right, Christian, what's our sports-related topic today?
With our sports draft, let's go with the best all-time players from the final 4 teams remaining in the NCAA tournament.
Is there an automatic number one?
No, because 3 of these 4 schools are absolutely loaded historically when it comes to great basketball players.
I don't know. I actually thought it was a little thinner than I was expecting, to be honest.
It was easy to get to 10.
Oh, we'll get to 10 for sure.
But there is not a clear number one, in my opinion.
Not even
was there for you?
Close. But I wasn't sure if I was missing somebody.
I do actually think this is the right answer, though ironically, he has probably the worst history of all these players. And it's Chris Webber.
Uh-huh.
Chris Webber was a freak in college.
He was.
And was so obviously the number 1 overall pick.
Did not win a title, however.
Did not win a title, and but was,
Yeah, dominant. Yeah, I can't hate you.
beloved coming out of high school, was just one of those guys, just highly vaunted his whole life. And unfortunately, his college career is marred by the timeout, but was absolutely incredible at Michigan.
Man, where to go? Where to go next, Ben? You know what? I'm going to go with. He also I don't think won anything in college, but it'll get me votes. I'm going to go with Ray Allen.
Yep.
UConn Husky Ray Allen. Very popular. Jesus Shuttlesworth.
He was great. Yeah, he was a very cool player. He was maybe the other player I was thinking if I didn't take Chris Webber number 1. All right, I will go with a guy who did win a title, was a great college player, and actually had a much better NBA career and a cooler NBA career than I expected because he didn't become kind of the ball hog that I thought. And I'll go with Kemba Walker.
Oh, he was great in college.
He was really great in college, and that was like a 6 seed. That UConn team was not front runner all the way. In fact, I don't know if they were going to make the tournament if they didn't win the Big East tournament, which he hits the buzzer beater over Pitt and then does win the national title. It's one of the great runs of all time, so give me Kemba.
Yeah, Kemba was awesome. Can't hate you there. And that legit is like a call. I mean, if we're drafting what they did in college, that legitimately is a great pick. In a similar vein, I'm going to go with Mike Bibby.
Okay. A lot of guards on this list.
Well, it's college basketball. We're
Yeah,
going to talk a lot about guards.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mike Bibby.
Yep, no argue there.
Champion.
Better college player than pro player, but was a very good NBA player.
But you say the same about Kemba. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. Man, do I want to get cute? I'm not going to get cute. I'm going to stay with a really great college player. And people I do think forget how good he was in college because he ended up being a good pro, and obviously there's very close ties here. Darren Williams was a very good college basketball player.
Well, he had a great run.
And he had a great run. I think that Illinois team lost one game all in the regular season and then lost the national championship to North Carolina. But, I mean, he overtook Chris Paul somewhat legitimately through his play throughout the college season.
He was great in college.
He was a great college player.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'll take D-Will. Of a pretty barren team in Illinois history, not a lot of great players.
I am surprised I'm getting this player this late.
Okay.
He was a national champ. Richard Rip Hamilton.
Yeah. Saw him at a mall in Florida one time. Also saw him play in the NBA a lot.
Arguably the best Husky of all time.
Yeah. Awesome. And won an NBA title. Was instrumental in that. Rip's cool. Rip's an all-time cool player. No doubt about it. Good pick. I want to give Arizona a little love, though I shouldn't. I'm going to go with another very cool player. Out of nowhere. Not out of nowhere, but maybe not the player a lot of people think. Give me Sean Elliott. Sean Elliott was a cool NBA player and a cool college player.
I think he was a good NBA player. I think he was a little bit of a disappointment. A lot of people thought he was going to be
a superstar.
Yeah,
because he was two-time All-American.
Yeah, it did not turn into that. I can't believe I'm getting this. Is this my fifth pick? Fourth. Wow, even still, I'm going to take him while he's still on the board. Maybe one of the best NCAA tournament runs of all time, you can look it up, was a national champ, Michigan's all-time leading scorer, 2,442 points.
Yeah, I thought I was going to get him.
And had one heck of a year in the Great Alaska Shootout.
At least a night.
Glenn Rice.
Dang, that's
my
literally
guy,
was going to be my next pick.
Glenn Rice.
Did win the title in 1989.
He was awesome.
He was awesome. Glenn Rice's senior season at Michigan, 25 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 57% from the floor. He shot 51% from 3 on 5 attempts a game.
Dude is awesome.
Yeah, truly one of the great runs of all time. You know, if you were to actually go back and take single seasons in college basketball history,
that might be it.
Glenn would be in the conversation and to win the title.
Yep.
Yeah, Glenn Rice was unreal great player. I was going to take him next, but I wanted to give Arizona some love, and I probably shouldn't have. This is my final pick. Give me Damon Stoudemire.
Terrible in the tournament.
Yeah, it's fine. Pretty synonymous, though, with Arizona basketball. And was a really good player.
Nah.
All Pac-12, Pac-10 Player of the Year. He's really good.
He stinks.
All-American. Consensus.
Let's see.
Led college basketball, at least led the Pac-12 in points and assists. And I think it might have been all of college basketball. It's really rare.
All right, Ben. God, no one from Illinois.
There's nobody. Honestly, the next best player is D. Brown.
Yeah, I know.
Who
as
also
much as
played
I
for the
love
Jazz.
D. Brown.
He's probably the best Illinois player of all time.
All right, I'm going to go with a champion, and I don't know if this is going to give me any votes, but you know what? The guy was... can I really pull the trigger on that, dude? Okay, Emeka Okafor.
Okay.
At UConn, he was a champion. You remember how dominant... He beat Duke in the Final Four. And how dominant that dude was at UConn. He was amazing.
He was awesome.
Emeka
And was really cool. Like a two-way player, probably averaged like 4 blocks a game. He was one of those guys.
Didn't do anything. Got drafted by the Bobcats.
In the expansion draft.
Just didn't do anything.
Stinker.
All right. Anybody we're forgetting, Christian?
Jalen Rose?
I thought about Jalen just to get in on the Fab Five action, but you know what? Okafor was better in college than Jalen Rose.
Ruined his reputation a little bit with his coaching and his love for punching people. But Juwan Howard.
Yeah.
Player. Jason Terry. That was it. Otherwise, we got everybody on the board for me. So.
Yeah, not D. Brown.
Unfortunately.
Illinois, very thin. All right, recap.
Ben had the number 1 pick. He went Chris Webber, Kemba Walker, Darren Williams, Sean Elliott, and Damon Stoudemire.
I take that team.
Ray Allen, Mike Bibby, Rip Hamilton, Glenn Rice, and Emeka Okafor.
No Trey Burke.
No.
Had a
Not
great
here.
run. Had a great run, but no, you can't draft him in Utah.
No.
In Michigan, they might.
Not here.
Not here. Sorry, Trey.
All right, our not sports is?
In honor of April Fool's Day, let's go with Best Comedic Actors.
Best Comedic Actors. So not comedians per se, although comedians would qualify.
Crossover, but not you're only known for being a comedian.
Is there an automatic number 1 pick?
This is my pick, right? Or is this your pick?
Me.
Your pick. I do have a name that always jumps to the top for me when I think of comedic actors.
I do too, but I don't know if you can say this is automatically number 1.
No, it's not.
But I'm going to go with Robin Williams.
Okay. Definitely one of the 3 or 4 names that I think has to be in that conversation. Do you have a favorite Robin Williams?
A favorite Robin Williams movie?
Performance, movie.
Well, I mean, his stand-up is amazing, but that's not what we're really doing. His golf bit is just incredible. But, I mean, the Genie is
truly legendary.
Is absolutely. Mrs. Doubtfire is funny. Yeah. But Robin Williams.
I've never seen Good Morning Vietnam. Have you seen it?
It's incredible.
I should watch it.
One of the best radio movies of all time.
Okay. That's good. That's probably in my wheelhouse. I should watch that. All right. The other name I would go with is Bill Murray. When I think of comedy roles, comedic actors, and he's done it for 4 decades, 5 decades, Bill Murray is the name I always think of first.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not hating on it.
I don't know why I always think of him in Stripes, other than that was the movie my dad had recorded off VHS, off TV. And then when I watched it when I was older, I was like, this is not the same movie I watched growing up at all.
All right. I'm going to go with Chris Farley.
Okay.
And count me in the group of people that like Black Sheep better than the other one.
Tommy Boy?
Tommy Boy.
It's just such a short run, but was as burned as bright as anybody.
Then he did that ninja movie that wasn't so good.
Beverly Hills Ninja. Very funny cameo in Dirty Work. It was great. He's missing his nose. Good backstory there. All right, I will go with the name I think most people would probably actually draft number 1 overall because did something very few people have ever done in Eddie Murphy, who had he was the star of the biggest TV show, which was SNL at the time. He had the biggest movie with Beverly Hills Cop, and he was the biggest stand-up comedian in the world. You know, he had, in the 80s, and I was too young to know it, I was born in 86, had it as much as anybody has ever, been the star of comedy.
Steve Martin.
Yep.
Still funny to this day. You watched that Only Murders in the Building show with he and Martin Short? And randomly, who's the Mickey Mouse Club person that's in that show?
Not Vanessa Hudgens.
Nope.
What's her name? Selena Gomez.
There you go. Pretty good. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty good.
I think I watched the first few episodes. But Steve Martin, you're right. You can go back and just a lot of hits, a lot of classics. All right, I'm going to go with a guy who had a real stranglehold on the world in the early 2000s. It's Will Ferrell, who has really had a lousy 10-year run. Probably since, what is it, The Other Guys was the last like kind of movie he did that made some sense. I like Stranger Than Fiction, but man, his whole thing is like, I'm just selling credit cards now. It's really boring. It's really a little upsetting, but.
Well, I don't know about upsetting.
I'm upset by him. Lose
Upset
sleep
by
over it. Yeah, bad
Will
dreams
Ferrell
about
no
it.
longer being funny?
Yeah. But like to Bill Murray's credit, to even Eddie Murphy's credit, to Steve Martin's credit, it's like Steve Martin still is funny. Will Ferrell has just really mailed it in.
I remember when Will Ferrell lost me. I do find like political impressions funny.
Uh-huh.
You know, I love Phil Hartman, or I guess I could take him. Maybe
Yeah.
I should.
Yeah.
But anyway, his like Bill Clinton was hilarious. All this. I watched Will Ferrell's stand up as George W. Bush, and it was so bad.
Because he did
so bad.
It was so iconic on SNL. To do an entire stand-up was a bad idea.
It was. Yeah, I was like, okay, I can't watch this guy anymore. You know what? I'm gonna go with Phil Hartman.
Yeah,
I actually wasn't even thinking of Phil. Phil Hartman. News radio is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he was funny in The Simpsons.
He's the funniest character on The Simpsons. His multiple characters, but Lionel Hutz.
Lionel Hutz is the funniest.
Is the funniest character, and who's the actor? Troy McClure.
Troy McClure. But when they need a babysitter and they hire Lionel Hutz because he's rooting around in their trash, it's like, I'll do it for a popsicle and a rusty bird cage. And then they said, agreed. And he goes, still got it. Yeah, Phil Hartman.
Yeah. It's a funny thing. He watched Matlock with the sound off, but he thinks he got the gist of it. He was in a bar watching Matlock with the sound off. That's how he becomes a lawyer. Why were you in a bar?
Oh man,
the best.
Yeah.
All right, I will go with. I'll go with John Candy.
I know. I love Candy.
You took Farley. I'll take Candy.
Yeah.
Just too many sad similarities there. Other than doesn't sound like. I mean, John Candy did die from an overdose, but did not. Unfortunately, wasn't able to take care of himself.
Is this my final one, Christian? All right, this one's coming from the heart, Ben.
Okay.
I don't know if this gets me any votes, but Leslie Nielsen.
I have him above Robin Williams and John Candy.
Do you really?
Yeah, because I thought you would take him.
Oh, I love Leslie Nielsen so much. The Naked Gun movies are so funny. And he was funny. Have you seen the original Police Squad? The television show that the Naked Gun movies are based on?
I have not, no.
He's hilarious
It's really
in that
like kind of
too.
a niche thing. Right? It's a small thing.
He's very funny in that too.
I'll take... You know who's a great comedic actor? Done a lot of very funny things. Give me Maya Rudolph. I think Maya Rudolph is hilarious. Still very funny. Bridesmaids is great. Was awesome on SNL. Give me Maya Rudolph.
Bridesmaids was great, but not because of her.
Not just because of her, no. I agree.
What's her name? Melissa whatever and
Melissa McCarthy, Kristen
and then
Wiig.
Kristen Wiig. They definitely stole the show,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, they carried the show more than Maya Rudolph does.
But Maya does some funny. Her Kamala Harris was
really great.
Was really good.
She's funny in Idiocracy, which certainly has a cult following.
All right. There's I would say who'd we leave out, but I mean there's a zillion of them.
Trillion of them, yeah.
Who would you have taken, Christian?
Sandler.
No.
He would have.
Andy Samberg, I think.
Andy Samberg's really funny. Mike Myers.
I consider Jim Carrey.
Yeah, Jim Carrey, absolutely. Chris Rock, Martin Lawrence, Kristen Wiig.
Yeah, Kristen Wiig's good. All right. Let's do a little recap.
Jake, you had the number one pick. You went Robin Williams, Chris Farley, Steve Martin, Phil Hartman, and Leslie Nielsen. Ben went Bill Murray, Eddie Murphy, Will Ferrell, John Candy, and Maya Rudolph.
All right.
A lot of funny people out there.
Put it out online.
No Chevy Chase.
Get the votes.
Just everyone hates Chevy Chase. That's the problem.
Yeah, would that really get you any votes?
But
isn't there? I'm pretty sure isn't there a documentary out there called "Everyone Hates Chevy Chase"? That's rough.
Yeah, and it's accurate, apparently.
Apparently.
Yep.
All right, stay tuned. We wrap up the show next. Jacob Ed, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Whether it's the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, these guys have got you covered.
Time to eat, fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
1, 2, 3, move it.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two amigos on the airwaves, talking sports. They got it made, Jake's and on soul. Loves his tie-dye, Ben's got style with his scarves. Oh my.
I finally get to call Jake Scott a bozo. Dude, what year were you born? Obviously, you're too young. I guess I'm aging myself here, but dude, a chamois is a frickin' sheepskin. It's a piece of tanned leather that has been worked and worked and worked till it's soft like a cloth. And it's better than any of this synthetic garbage, but all the PETA people and all the people that love animals and want to hug them don't realize that after you eat them that the skin is good for polishing your car. But no, they got to throw it away or put it on your shoes that you can feel good about. But wiping down your car, you must be a horrible person to use a sheepskin to do that. By the way, go to any reputable auto parts store and ask for a real chamois. I'm pretty sure they still make them. And by the way, it's a Sham-Wow. It's not a chamois either, you bozos. Love you.
Was that Dazed C? Is that what you said? I was the one who said it wasn't synthetic, Dazed C. Point your bozo comment at Ben. That wasn't me. That was Ben.
Dazed C is unfortunately, he is aging himself because we are not talking about a Sham-Wow.
I'm talking about a chamois.
And an actual Sham-Wow, which was the ad. It was the late night ad by the guy who I think got in trouble for biting people. But he sold the Sham-Wow, which was based on a chamois, yes, Chamois, French, I believe, for sheep's skin or sheep's leather, whatever it is. Yes, made of the old
Well,
material.
call me a bozo if you will, but I still call it a chamois. And yes, I am familiar with the old chamois. That's how I knew Ben was trying to sell me chamois were synthetic. They are not. I don't care about the Sham-Wow.
The
but an
Sham-Wow
old school
is
chamois
synthetic, though.
is sheepskin.
Okay.
Thank you, Dave.
But the Sham-Wow is a synthetic version with the same idea. It can hold a lot more water than,
can
a
you,
traditional rag.
You can still buy a real chamois, can't
I'm sure,
you?
yeah.
Or is it like some underground market? Dave C made it seem like the PETA people have gotten the actual chamois taken off the market.
I'm sure you can buy it.
Because, yeah, that stuff soaks up water like you wouldn't believe.
A chamois cloth, pronounced chamois, extremely soft, absorbent, durable material. Let me see if I can buy some right now.
So are they microfiber or not?
Not a chamois. I don't care about this stupid late night thing.
But that's what people now use on their cars is also microfiber. If you're not using a Sham-Wow or a chamois or a chamois.
Have you ever bought anything on the late night TV or as seen on TV section?
It looks like it is hard to buy real
chamois
now or chamois.
Have you? Because I have only purchased one thing as seen on TV. It wasn't even calling the number. I found it in like Target or something.
Mm-hmm.
The stupid crinkle hoses.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm
the
talking
worst
about?
Idea. Great idea. It
Great.
shrinks.
Like you look at the commercial and you're like, oh yeah, well I hate wrapping up my hose. That is not how that functions.
Yeah,
that does not work.
No, in fact, the best thing you can do is buy the 5,000-pound hose that doesn't bend at all and is impossible to use, but it will never break. Every hose that's designed to be flexible just tears and breaks and doesn't work. No, I only spent my money on Miss Cleo. Just get my fortune read.
Rest her soul.
I think she went to jail. And is she dead now?
She's dead.
But she did go to jail, right? She got in trouble for being a fake, actually. She's not a real psychic, if you can believe it.
I
got
could
into
see
a lot of trouble.
I could see Christian staying up late and calling those talk lines.
I'm bored.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think maybe something
Other ones, actually.
AI has done well is a lot of people are dating AI partners.
How's that good?
Well, it's better than spending your money on Miss Cleo of just being, I just need somebody to talk to.
Is it?
Well, you're not spending money. And Miss Cleo is just going to find a way to get you on board to continue to take your money.
But you have a relationship with a computer. At least Miss Cleo is a real person.
But it's not actually a mind reader or a psychic, and she's just taking your money. At least you're not losing money.
Is a person. Like, you don't fall in love with your vacuum, Ben. You're not going to, like... You're going to fall in love with a computer?
That's a good place to end the show.
Is it? You're saying it's okay for people to fall in love with AI? All right. Scotty G and friends, including me for the first segment, coming up next. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.